And I'm back. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can finally get this thing to start this morning. I've got the pump in. I went to turn it over last night and the battery was absolutely dead, so I had it on charge all night. And so here it is. The front bucket off, of course, and those rams aren't working yet, but let's see if we can get this thing to kick over. First, we're gonna see if we can get fuel to bleed up to the injectors. So yesterday, I got fuel through the filters and right to the pump, and I couldn't turn it over to get it to move up into the pump. And I got my injector lines. These ones are tight. This one's loose right here, okay? And I don't have my breather on. Okay, you'll have to forgive me for that. I just got it. I just took the cover off of this. And I don't have my alternator belt hooked up, or the fan belt. So, you know, if it does start, we're only going to be able to run it for, you know, a minute before I have to turn it off. But I've checked the oil, and the other fluids are good. And let's give it a try. See what happens. See if we can get some fuel to come up to those injectors. Okay, I just cranked it over again and I saw some fuel come out this injector right here. So let's close this one off. See a little bit of fuel bubbling on this one here. And the battery's worn down again. I don't see anything happening on these other ones. That might be a little drip over there. It's certainly not enough to fire it. So it's still not delivering the fuel. Maybe it'll burp out some air out of the pump or something, I don't know. It should have fired by now if it was going to, I think. I know there's fuel in the governor chamber. I've had this fitting out. And I don't think it's airlocked anywhere down here. Okay, it's the next morning. So what I've done this morning is I took this cover off, and I discovered that that little clip that goes on the rod that holds those two rods together, the throttle and the stop rod, that little stop clip had fallen off. It was pretty loose anyway. I didn't really like how that fit on there. It had fallen off down inside, and so that would only really prevent the stop from working. You know, had we got it going, the mechanical stop wouldn't have worked. You know, there's other ways to stop an engine, but I also have this solenoid on here, this fuel shut-off solenoid, so that would have activated it. And then what I looked at was I went in and looked at this other pump I've got, and it's got a, you know, it's the same shaft going through there, and the clip fit on that one quite well. So what I did was I took out these shafts in place. I left the pump in the tractor, and I took each of these shafts out, and I swapped them for the ones on the other pump. So I just set the stops on each of these new ones the same as my old pump. So it's all identical, but these shafts fit together a little tighter, so it might be a factor. So I got the clip in there really good now. I added a couple of extra Teflon washers in between where this arm goes on to the pump, and it just makes, when you push those shafts together, there's some tension on it, and when you put the clip in, it's tight in the groove. You know, without it, it was kind of, you know, the shafts come together and that clip just kind of sat down in the groove, and there was all it would take was just the shaft to move out, you know, a few thousandths of an inch, and the clip would fall out. So with a couple extra new Teflon washers in there, it sort of squeezes together, put the clip in, and then it's tight. The clip stays tight in there. So I don't think it's going to change much. I think I probably going to have to drop the pump out again and look at those plungers, look at those adjustments. And yeah, because yesterday it wasn't going to go. It just wasn't going to go. The fuel wasn't coming up. But we're going to try it anyway. You know, it's set overnight with fuel in it, and I've got some diesel fuel conditioner in the fuel, quite a bit actually. I added way more than I should have, but it's with the hopes that maybe it's gonna, get in there and work its way into the pump and maybe dissolve something that's stuck or sticky or gummed up a little bit. That's something I may not have got to when I had it apart. So anyway, it's set overnight, ready to try it here. So let's crank it over and see what we get. If anything's gonna happen. It's bubbling there. Something happening. That's what it was doing yesterday, so I don't hold out a lot of hope that it's going to start, but you never know. Let's give that battery a chance to come back and let that starter cool off. Come on, it's got to start today. Because if this doesn't start today, I got to move on to some other projects for a while. I was really hoping I could get this thing to kick over. Not much fuel happening there, eh? Let's try another one. Let's try that one on the end over here. Let's try that. Oh, there's more fuel coming up there today than there was yesterday. It's just bubbling a little bit, but wow, that is hopeful. Oh, what's happening there? Huh. That's discouraging. It's discouraging. You never quit, though. Never quit. Never get discouraged. Never give up. It'll go. Eventually, it'll go.